Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to the channel. Before we start, I'm gonna ask you the same old thing to like, share and subscribe. And let's start with the comments about this week's energy. And this week we're gonna have the last eclipse of the year, the solar eclipse on the 2nd of October in Libra. I actually took a lot of notes. They're here because there's a lot to talk about this eclipse. So if I keep looking down, it's because I have to read my notes so I won't forget some things, and probably I will forget some things because I'm forgetful. And not just that, this video is going to be a little longer than usual, and my videos are already very long, as you guys know. I'm gonna try to make it as short as I can, but again, this eclipse is very significant, so we have to understand the movements around this eclipse. That's why I took a lot of notes about it. I'm not someone who usually takes notes, but yeah. So as I said, we're gonna have a solar eclipse on the 2nd of October at 10 degrees of Libra. If you like to see how it's gonna influence you in a personal level, in an individual level, when it comes to personal astrology, I suggest you get your birth chart and see if you have anything happening in your cardinal signs. That would be Libra, Capricorn, Aries or Cancer. If you have any planets happening in these signs at around 6 degrees till 12 degrees of, again, Libra, Capricorn, Aries or Cancer. If anything is happening in between 6 degrees and 12 degrees of these signs, probably it's gonna be influenced by the eclipse. Usually I go to 2 or 3 degrees more or less of whatever is going on there, but the reason why I'm extending to 6 degrees is because we have the south node in Libra at 6 degrees as well. So this influence is gonna be is gonna extend a little bit. It's gonna be a little the spectrum is gonna be a little larger than usual in this case. So this eclipse is gonna be very important for a number of reasons. First of all, it's gonna be the last eclipse of 2024. Second is going to be the last eclipse in the axis Libra Aries. We're actually going to have an Aries eclipse on 2025. I think it's going to be on March 10 or something like that. Let me see here. Or March no, I'm horrible with dates. March 29th. On March 29th, we're gonna have the activation of this axis again, because we're gonna have an eclipse, but it's gonna be in Aries. So it's more Arian energy than Libra energy. So it's gonna be the last time we're gonna have more of this Libra energy. And this axis, like I always say in this channel, is the axis of identity. I call it the identity axis, which is me and versus you, Aries and Libra. And it's the last time in a long time that we're going to be dealing with the relationship aspect of the axis, which is Libra energy. Also, it is an eclipse happening in the last lunation, where we have Pluto retrograde, and not only retrograde, but retrograde in Capricorn. This is the last time we're gonna have it happening in under Capricorn influence, in Capricorn energy. After this moon, Capricorn is gonna go direct, and I think it is gonna go direct on the 10th. Now it's the 10th, really, of October. Yeah, Pluto is gonna go direct on the 10th of October. It's still gonna be in Capricorn for a while, but again, not gonna be retrograde anymore. So Pluto is gonna go full-on transformation mode, not allowing us to review anything anymore, especially under Capricorn energy, because on November 18th, it's gonna go straight into Aquarius and never again into Capricorn in our incarnation. So this is a big deal. A lot of transformational energy happening in the background. And not just that, the fourth aspect, I feel that this eclipse, because of all of these things, it's gonna be working strongly with the next full moon, the full moon that is gonna happen on mid-October. I think it's gonna be on, I actually took note, October 17th. It's gonna be a full moon in Aries, because the solar eclipse, which we're gonna be having in Libra right now, every solar eclipse happens in a new moon, and every lunar eclipse happens in a full moon. I think I already said that, but the full moon that we're gonna have on 17th of October, a lot of the aspects and planets that are being activated right now in this eclipse, they're going to be similar in the full moon, but not just that. When the moon becomes full, they're going to be speaking very loudly. It's like we're activating them right now, and in the full moon they're just gonna like sing. So we're being ushered to their energy, to their full potential. So a lot of things happening there. And again, it's an eclipse. Eclipses are portals, have this energy of being a threshold where we have one foot in a place and another foot in another place. Is this very is where we are in this limbo realm, where things are not yet defined, and eclipses, they work in a big, in bigger cycles. They influence us for a long time. It's a astrological convention to say that they work for the next 6 months until the next eclipse comes, but that is not really true. They reverberate. Eclipse, they work karmically. They work with our karma. So it really depends on our soul timing. And again, for soul, there's no time. So it really depends on how we're working on our karma individually. So this 6-month kind of thing, it's not really a rule. It's more of a convention. At least in my opinion, that's what I say. Because when we're dealing with karma, we don't set time for karma. It's like that concept of divine timing, and divine timing happens not when God wants, but when a frequency is matched, when you have the right frequency to activate that energy, and that only depends on you and your work. Anyway, So it's like a point system. If you have enough points to activate that, then it's triggered. And again, eclipses, they work with bigger cycles in our lives. So it's important for you. A lot of astrologers and a lot of people are going to be talking a lot of things about the eclipse, including myself. But it's important that you listen to your own intuition and what you feel in order to understand what the bigger cycle is talking to you. The smaller cycles, when we talk about smaller planets and how they're affecting you in the moment of the eclipse, which is what I'm going to be telling right now, is how to will help you navigate the energies, but how it affects you in a bigger scheme, how you're going to go through things, how you're moving through your journey and your way. This is part of the bigger cycle, and that only you can do, because you have to listen to, again, to yourself, to your intuition, to your feelings. It's your own dharma, it's your own journey. So yeah, this eclipse, it's at 10 degrees of Libra. There's a lot of Libra energy happening with this eclipse. We have the moon and the sun, because again, solar eclipses, they happen when the moon and the sun are together. So the moon and the sun are at 10 degrees of Libra. We also have Mercury at 10 degrees of Libra. We also have Lilith at 11 degrees of Libra. And we have the South Node at 6 degrees of Libra. They're all conjunct in Libra. So we have a lot of Libra energy, as you guys can see. And which means this is all about relationships, because Libra is all about relationships. And like I was saying, every eclipse has this kind of limbo energy. It's like you're in a limbo realm where things are at the same time ending and starting. You have one foot at one place and a foot at the other place. But especially this eclipse, because of the things and planets that are involving this eclipse, especially the South Node and Lilith, it's all about shedding your old skin, and at the same time, simultaneously, opening up to the new. And which means that when it comes to the relationship realm, people may come and go into your life. Like I said in the previous video, people may come and go into your life. But also the people that already exist in your life, you're gonna change the way you deal with them, the way you deal with relationships. The dynamics are going to shift, are going to be different. Because Libra, as I said in the previous videos, Libra is always striving for, this is Libra energy, karmic, it's the karmic lesson for Libra. Libra is always striving for beauty and harmony, and justice. But the thing is, that's why I said it's a karmic lesson. Libra needs to understand that they are in this journey. Oh, my cat over there. Libra is constantly on a journey of redefining what a peaceful and harmonious relationship really means. That is what is the karmic lesson for Libra energy. It's redefining what a fair and just and harmonious relationship means. And understanding that if a person needs to silence themselves or change themselves or not make themselves authentic or true, or change their values or hide a part of themselves, anyway, if something has to be suffocated in someone's true energy, authenticity, in order to keep a false sense of harmony and peace, then that relationship isn't being needs to be redefined, because that relationship is not truly peaceful, and it doesn't honestly support growth. That is the point. They need to understand what honest support of growth means in a relationship. Because that kind of behavior, when you, again, suppress yourself in order to make an unequal situation work, it comes from a place of fear that we're put in and that we're taught to behave since childhood, either from our family, from society, from the system, from the patriarchy, whatever. And this eclipse is about shedding this place of fear. It's about shedding our fears of being ourselves, fears of being authentic. And that is where we come with all the other planets. So, first of all, we have Mercury. And one thing about Mercury is that, like I said, it's at 10 degrees of Libra, just like the moon and the sun. My cat is looking at me. Just like the moon and the sun. And when Mercury is at an exact conjunction with the sun, we say, I don't even know if it's the same word in English. I think it is. We say that Mercury is combust, which means it's like it is obfuscated by the sun's energy. But it is important to know that, and when that happens, you don't have a clear idea of things. You cannot think straight, because again, Mercury is about thought and communication. So when the sun is kind of obfuscating that, things are very unclear. But it is important to understand that new moons, as I always say, they're not about doing anything. New moons are moments to go within. They are the time to seed, to sow the seeds. And solar eclipses, which are the ones that new moons that are made of new moons, they're about downloading a higher conscience into your mind, insights, new energy coming out from the divine. Again, downloads of higher consciousness. It's like this new light coming from the sun, which is higher spirit. So it is actually a moment, even though Mercury is in Libra, which is an air sign, and when Mercury is in an air sign, especially in Libra, it's all about communications. The communication flows very nicely, especially with other people. Ideas are very clear, but again, because it is conjunct to the sun, that is not going to happen. Mercury is going to try to be agitated, but and anxious, but again, very unclear. But because it is a solar eclipse, it's a moment of going within. Because it is a new moon, it is a moment of downloads. So it's not, it's about quieting your mind. It is about quieting your mind, because the information that is going to come at first is going to be very unclear. Very unclear. You're not going to get it. But it's important for you to keep an open mind, to be opened to whatever comes to you. Just be opened. Because it's going to be unclear for a very short period of time. Because Mercury is a very quick planet. It has a very quick speed. So it's going to be conjunct to the sun only on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of October. After that, the energy is clear. And not just that, on the 2nd, when the eclipse happens, it's going to be the exact conjunction. So it's going to be very difficult to understand. But as it progresses, the energy starts to clear out little by little. So it's like this fog that become less and less denser with the passing of days. It's just 3 days, guys. And again, 3 days that dissipate with the passing of time. It's not like 3 days of complete blindness. No, it's like you gaining clarity with each and with the passing of the hours. So again, at the beginning, the downloads may be unclear, but it becomes clearer as it goes. So it is important for you to stay opened to everything that comes, because you're going to get a lot of insights. The second thing, and again, quiet your mind. Go within. Go within. Especially for the first days at the moment of the eclipse. The second thing, second energy, Lilith at the 11th degree of Libra. Lilith has a lot to do with honoring ourselves. And Lilith is there. It's very important for Lilith to be there in this eclipse, especially because it's the last eclipse we're gonna have this Libra energy, because Lilith is there to make sure that we're again honoring ourselves in relationships. Lilith knows itself. Lilith is about knowing ourselves, knowing our self-worth, but it kind of has this wound, this guilt. In order to understand Lilith, I like to talk about the myth of Lilith. Lilith is related in astrology, in our birth chart, to the biblical myth of the Eden, the Garden of Eden. And why is this book over here? Oh, okay. To the Garden of Eden, and Adam and Eve and all of these things. God, when God created man, God created from clay Adam and Lilith. Lilith was Adam's first wife, and God created both of them at his own image. They were equal. But the thing is, Adam wouldn't have it. Adam wanted to be the alpha, let's put it this way, and Lilith wouldn't take it. Lilith knew her worth. So eventually she got tired of it and got fed up of it, and she decided to leave paradise. She was like, okay, just keep it to yourself then. I'm not gonna put up with this because I know my worth. So bye. Lilith exiled herself into the wilderness, but she just wouldn't subdue herself. She wouldn't be submissive. That is the whole thing. And then God created Eve from Adam's ribs. And actually, the one who gave Eve her name was Adam, wasn't even God. And Eve was submissive. That is the whole myth. But Lilith has this energy in astrology, in our birth charts, of knowing ourselves. It's something that is so intrinsic to ourselves. Is a value or a characteristic that is so intrinsic to ourselves, is so precious to ourselves, that we just don't give up. Even if we have to break all our connections, even if we know that it's gonna hurt emotionally, we just don't care. We don't give up that part of our ego in order to make things peaceful, in order to sound lovely, in order to be loved by someone or something, in order to be accepted by a situation. And that is the thing. Lilith, archetypically in our birth charts and in astrology, is about knowing our self-worth, but at the same time a place where we're taught that we don't belong, that we're not welcomed. So Lilith always has this bitter taste around it because of that. It's like, oh really? You're not gonna submiss yourself? You're not gonna go by the rules? Then get out. Then bye. So Lilith always has this kind of I had to pay the price about it. And we're taught that we don't belong to that place for various reasons. Again, society, patriarchy, whatever, family, religion. In this eclipse, Lilith being there, it actually is will bring up some of these shadows in us. And again, Lilith hurts because Lilith is the shadow of the moon. The moon doesn't mind. That's why sometimes you're gonna hear like black moon Lilith, because it's the shadow of the moon. The moon doesn't mind giving up some of the ego in order to keep ourselves emotionally comforted. The moon doesn't mind. Lilith minds. Lilith is like, I don't care if I'm gonna suffer some emotional discomfort. I just don't want to give up this part of my ego. It's the extreme opposite. So Lilith is going to be very active. That is why she's very important in this eclipse. She's going to make sure that Libra is not making us give up ourselves, our self-worth. But then again, because of that, in the eclipse, Lilith will bring some of our shadows, some of these shadows, this painful shadows about us, and is probably gonna be triggered. Some of the relationships we have are gonna trigger Lilith in us, but Lilith wants to be heard, and not because of what people say that to us that we don't belong, but what we taught ourselves that we don't belong. Because a lot of people and situations and in education, whatever, they can say a lot of things to us, but we don't absorb. It's like, okay, you can say that, but I don't think that. But some of these concepts and things that they say that we don't belong, we actually ended up introjecting. Is that even a word? I don't know. Absorbing. Anyway, some of these things we ended up absorbing, and we kind of ended up believing that we don't belong to that place, to that energy, that we're not adequate to that situation, that we shouldn't behave like that because of this and that. Some of these things we ended up absorbing and believing, and Lilith is going to trigger some of these things, and it's like, hey, pay attention to this. You actually believe in these things and they're not supposed to be there. So I'm gonna make them hurt. I'm gonna make it sing. I'm gonna make it loud so you can shed it off. So you can clean it away from you because it doesn't belong to you. These are actually chains that were put in you, not in you, on you, onto you, in order to keep you in place. In order to tame you. But then again, it's Lilith in Libra. So even though she wants to be heard, she's not one to make any kind of scandal. Oh, my cat. She's not a very scandalous Lilith. She's a very diplomatic Lilith and a very compassionate one. And all she's looking is for equilibrium. She just wants harmony. In a way that allows both sides to be fulfilled, to feel happy, again, to nurture each other and to grow in a relationship. But she's a strong Lilith because she knows herself, and she's not gonna let anyone trump over her, you know, step on her. I don't know the word. Walk all over her. I think that is the word. I'm sorry. English is not my first language. I always say that. So sometimes my grammar and my vocabulary are not gonna be perfect. Anyway, so yeah, this is Lilith. Oh my god, my notes are just so freaking all over the place. Being a Pisces sometimes is a very desperate thing. Because they mix English with Portuguese, with whatever, with drawings, and the list of there's, oh my god, with a list of groceries, a task list, a phone number, all in the same page. It is a mess, guys. Honestly, I don't know how I can handle it. Jesus Christ. Okay. So I have to find the map of the things that I already said. Okay, I already said Lilith. Right. The next thing that is very important that is supporting us is Venus. Venus is in Scorpio. And it's gonna be very, I already said about this Venus in Scorpio in the last video, but Venus in Scorpio is very important for this eclipse because Venus, first of all, why do we care about Venus? Because Venus is about our values, and our values are at play here when we're dealing with relationships, but not just that. Venus is the ruler of Libra, and since we're dealing with a lot of Libra energy, we kind of have to take Venus into account, big time. Not just that. Venus in Scorpio is that energy that we go into our depths, into our history, and very ancient history, like childhood memories and the depths of our psyche and our emotional and intimacy is about our intimacy and places we don't really access frequently, and places we don't really let people go very often either, because again, intimacy. And Venus is inviting us to look at every single dark corner of our relationships, and again, of our psyche, of these memories involving relationships, and see everything that was thrown away or not dealt with properly, and it's gonna bring that up. Because sometimes we had to hide parts of ourselves, and we hide it in this realm in order to keep us safe or emotionally survive, all of these things that we already said. But also, not just that, a lot of unprocessed things as well, like unprocessed anger, unprocessed pain that we just bypassed in order to survive a relationship might be there as well. And Venus in Scorpio, I don't know, maybe someone just did something or said something and you're like, oh, just let it go, it's fine. It's fine. Went to this little drawer in this dark corner of your mind, and then I don't know, you have this behavior that the person reproaches, doesn't like, and you're like, oh, okay, fine, I'm gonna hide it. I'm gonna be secretive, because Scorpio is all about secrets. I'm gonna be secretive about this characteristic of mine. I'm not gonna let them see that because they don't like it, so I'm gonna keep it in another drawer. So you're filled with drawers, and Venus in Scorpio is like, hey darling, you know all these drawers? They're not gonna be shut anymore. Let's clean it. You're gonna have to look through all of them now. I don't care. So I'm gonna bring them all up. Don't be afraid. Scorpio is not afraid of the dark, and is actually very curious about it. So Venus in there is very important, especially with this Lilith going on. It's like, yeah, know yourself very deeply, and if something comes up that doesn't make the other party proud, or the other party doesn't agree with you, try to negotiate. And if you can't negotiate, it's like, yeah, it's not for me, because it's not supporting who you truly are, your growth. If you cannot make it work, then it was not supposed to work. It's like embracing your whole self now, from now on. And not just that, why this Venus is important, is in Scorpio is important, is because it's talking. Remember that I said that there's a lot of bigger cycles happening in the background because of all these other energies that I've been speaking about in the previous videos, with all the outer planets and blah blah blah. This Venus in Scorpio is actually making a big trine with the outer planets, the karmic planets, that are happening in the background. Because Venus in Scorpio, where are my notes? Where did I write this? The angles Oh, there it is. Venus. Jesus, I'm such a mess. Venus, that is being supported by this grand trine, is at 11 degrees of Scorpio. Saturn is in Pisces at 14 degrees, and Mars is in Cancer at 15 degrees. So they're making this grand trine, which is almost like this spiritual waters grand trine. That is actually resembles, I think it is a word, yeah, it's almost like this, not resembles, it reverbs, yeah, it reverbs the past eclipse that we had, the Pisces eclipse, the lunar one. That shows that we're actually being supported by the divine. That's why I say it's like this grand trine of spiritual waters, because when that eclipse happened, we also had a lot of Pisces energy with Neptune and Saturn conjunct, showing that we're being supported spiritually. So this whole movement is supporting us emotionally, but also in a spiritual level. And this Venus in Scorpio, it's making us reflect upon what we have been taught about love, what love is, how to love, how we love, what true love is, and not just that, again, reclaim parts of ourselves that were put away, either the positive ones, the negative ones, so and these parts can be like very old ones, very, very old ones. You may feel like there's a characteristic of yourself that you used to have when you were a child, and that you put away for a long, long time, and that is resurfacing, and you're like, yeah, I like that. Why did I stop doing that? So, or why did I tone that down? You're reclaiming things about you, and that will come also with you I actually watched a video about someone talking this thing that is coming to me about Scorpio, questioning, and actually it's coming to me, questioning the difference between love and loyalty, and it kind of has to do with this energy as well, because you're reflecting what you've been taught about what love is. And society, especially the movies, and media in general, they teach us that love and loyalty are the same thing, are synonyms, but they're not. And not just that, they teach us that loyalty should be put on top, should be held above love. And that has a very steep price, because when you put loyalty above love, what happens is, when it comes to self-love, it becomes self-loathe the moment your values don't match anymore, because you have to choose between loyalty and yourself. So when your values are the same, you don't notice a difference. Loyalty and love can coexist. But the moment there is a break in the values, when you don't see eye to eye when it comes to a certain value, and you have to preserve yourself. If you put loyalty first, what happens is you have to shut up. You have to silence yourself. You have to dismiss your values in order to maintain that loyalty, that bond with that person. And it's not about that. It's the opposite. Is putting love first. Because if there's a mismatch, if there's a mismatch when it comes to values, and Venus is all about values, if that happens, it's like, okay, we don't see eye to eye on that. I'm sorry. I have to let you go. Because I have to choose myself. It's Lilith. I know myself. I have to choose myself. I'm sorry. I'm not going to keep up with this anymore. If we can't see eye to eye, if we can't negotiate, I'm sorry. But I'm not going to silence myself or change my values to keep a false sense of harmony there. We can only meet each other up to here. After that, there's no negotiating. I'm sorry. So yeah, is this this differentiation about love and loyalty? I really thought it was very nice, this thing that the person said, and it just came to me. So another thing that comes to me when it comes to this Venus in Scorpio, not just Scorpio, but this grand trine, because it's water signs, and water signs are all about feelings. So this Venus in Scorpio is in this trine is bringing us the idea of feeling, really feeling what it's like to be authentic, to be our authentic selves, experiencing that, and not just that, is feeling that and realizing that this process can be messy. Because again, sometimes you're not going to see eye to eye to people, and you're going to have to make a difficult choice, and that's fine. Because that is Scorpio. Scorpio can see the beauty in the mess. Pisces as well. And Cancer as well. So it's like seeing, but especially Scorpio, it's like seeing the beauty in the mess. And teaching Libra that. Again, beauty and harmony is not the static energy, but the constant movement and negotiating of energies. And that is like this, what is the word? Dichotomy? I think it is. Oxymoron? I think it is. I don't know. I think it's dichotomy. It's the dichotomy of life. In order to have something balanced, you have to have an imbalance happening to keep balancing it. So in order to have the harmony, you have to presence this harmony. So you see the beauty in the mess. And the things that are helping you with supporting this is, again, is this supporting this emotional clearance that we're having, because it's going to this depths in these drawers and saying, hey, we're gonna have to look at this. We're not, hey darling, you're not keeping this shut here anymore, let's go through it. This emotional clearance in this grand trine is being helped by the Pisces. The Saturn in Pisces is actually telling you to clear, and that I've been saying in previous videos, clearing what you cannot bring with yourself anymore. So Saturn is doing that. And Mars in Cancer. Cancer is all about nurturing. Mars in Cancer, Mars is the planet of action. So Mars in Cancer is telling you about the taking action, about taking care of yourself. It's this active care kind of thing. It's telling you, hey, your emotional fulfillment, it depends on you. It's all up to you and no one else. It's literally no one's gonna take care of you but yourself. Your emotional wellness, it's your own responsibility. So make sure you're making yourself fulfilled and happy and heard and cleared and cleaned this whole Saturn, and alchemizing and looking through your drawers and process. So all these three, they're talking with each other. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, they're like throwing balls to each other. See what you can do for yourself. It's all your own responsibility. If you don't like it, clean it. If there's see what there's to clean, alchemize it. If you cannot alchemize it, throw it away. If there's a way to salvage, feed it, I don't know, just keep throwing the balls and make sure you're honoring yourself emotionally. And this balance is the balls moving all the time. This is the balance, which seems a mess, but it's not. And make sure you're honoring yourself, this Lilith. So there's a lot of things, guys, happening in the solar eclipse. A lot of things. And with the Pluto retrograde, it's like committed to being to your own growth, spiritual growth, and not just that. Are you being what is the word that I use? Sustainability? Yeah. Is it actually sustainable? Your way of living, emotionally, physically, mentally, is it sustainable to you? And especially when it comes to relationships, because this is all about relationships. Make sure it is. Is it promoting growth? Last call for Pluto in Capricorn retrograde, guys. So, now we're gonna go for the cards. Speaking about Mars in Cancer, one self-care oracle card. I told you I'm gonna try to keep it as short as I can, but a lot of things to talk about. This is actually very short compared to the Portuguese version one. That one was a whole mess. My cats wouldn't stop. Perfect. Reflection from Mark Twain. A man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. I'm gonna repeat it. A man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. Take some time before bed to appreciate yourself for who you are. You are on a unique path and you're doing the work. Guys, I mean, seriously? Take a print of the screen to keep it to you if you want to read it for a longer time. You owe no one but yourself any how can I say it? You don't have to justify yourself to anyone but yourself. That is the thing. The only one who needs to approve yourself is yourself. That doesn't give you an excuse to go, is it berserker? I think it is. And go insane and just be a psychopath? No. You have to, it's again this Libra energy of knowing how to work. and negotiate and be diplomatic, but not at your own expense. But also, you cannot be full Aries and it's like, oh, just screw everyone. No, because then you're gonna have to work on your Libra side. A lot of people are actually having to work on that instead of the Aries side. They're the ones that are suffering the most. So now, one gratitude card. Another reflection card. A lot of reflection cards. So, reflection. When eating fruit, remember. Oh. It's a Vietnamese proverb. When eating fruit, remember the one who planted the tree. Vietnamese proverb. Take time today to show gratitude for those who have contributed to your survival and well-being. No one thrives on their own. We are all connected. It's funny because I said just don't go berserker and just forget about everyone. When eating fruit, remember the one who planted the tree. Take time today to show gratitude for those who have contributed to your survival and well-being. No one thrives on their own. We are all connected. So yeah, don't forget the people who are there to support your growth as well. It's like I channel the messages before they come up. Oh, because that's probably what happens. Actually, they're asking me to take the Oracle card. I forgot to do this for the Portuguese, for the Brazilian one. The animal card before that. The spirit animals deck. I just want one card. Don't give me more than one card. Don't give me more than one card. Stop giving me pairs. I don't want a pair. I know we're dealing with Libra energy, but I don't want a pair. I just want one. Thank you. Oh, I just love it. The Condor. Number 15, which is related in the tarot to the devil. Let go of your imprisonment, guides. The Condor. I'm gonna read the book for you guys. Oh my god, my room is so cold. We're on spring here in Brazil, so it's starting to become very hot. And my cats, they're here with me and they want the air conditioning, but I'm not, even though I'm Brazilian, I'm not someone who likes air conditioning. I feel cold all the time. They love it. Anyway, guys, I love it. I already said, I love this Oracle so freaking much. It's like my favorite deck. Not of Oracles, but my favorite deck of all times. I could only use it for anything. That is so perfect. Learn to become self-aware. Soaring with majestic wings and a lofty presence, the Condor embodies profound qualities of heightened vision, a spiritual purification, and divine guidance. Its medicine initiates a transformative journey, inspiring us to elevate our consciousness and cleanse our spirits. I'm gonna hold it like this for you guys to print if you want it. I don't know if you can access the code through print screen. I don't know. If you can read it more. It's just the perfect message, because this is the perfect deck. But yeah, guys, it's self-awareness. And not just that. The Condor is the biggest what is this animal? Bird. Jesus Christ. The biggest bird in the at least in the South American skies. Jeez, the words are just... I'm becoming very Piscean. Please don't. Because in the Brazilian video, I was very Scorpionic, which was great, but here I'm very Piscean. Why? I love being Piscean. It's my sun sign. And Scorpio is my rising sign. But I love being my sun sign, but not to speak. That's not... But again, I have Mercury retrograde in Pisces. The worst positioning, the worst Mercury ever in a birth chart. But anyway, I completely forgot what I was gonna say. It doesn't help, especially because it's not my language. But yeah, the condor. Yeah, that was what I was saying. It is the biggest bird in the South American sky. And for me, it is all about being majestic. The condor also has this thing of being majestic, and it has this spiritual thing about it as well, like it said, but it's a very spiritual animal, but it's about your full potential, you know, spreading your full potentials, especially because it has a huge wingspread. Well, not a wingspread, wingspan. Wingspread. So, spread is from cards. This huge wingspan. So yeah. I think they can actually carry a whole... I'm not sure. I think they can almost carry like bovines and I have to check that. Caprines, is it caprines? I think it is, like goats and things like that. I think they can carry them up to their nests. Anyway, I'm already like going full David Attenborough here. So the energy of the week. King of Swords. Which is funny, the Brazilian Virgin was the Knight of Swords. Energy to activate. Up or down? Up. 3 of Coins. Energy to avoid. Yeah, reversed. They're telling me to, I'm not someone who reads reversed, but the reason why I'm doing this is because they actually asked me to read reverse for these for this reading. 8 of Coins reversed. Do I take shadow cards like I did for the Brazilian one? Okay. Because the energy is different, that's why I'm asking, but they're saying yes. They're actually asking me to put it back. Okay. They said I wasn't thinking about the question. I wasn't fully concentrated. They're saying in a very, like, how do you say it? Like, I don't know how to say it in English. Calling out my attention. I'm definitely very Piscean. Telling me to ground myself. I'm not very grounded. I know, I can feel it. I need a clarifier for this. Jesus, this clarifier is not helping. Is it what I think it is? I think it is. One more? I think it is. No wonder I created a channel. Yeah. Okay. I just have to remember the myth, because they're telling me to, this myth has a significance. I kind of remember the story of the girl who has to save their brothers and their swans, but I don't remember how she ended up there. And I have to, it has a meaning. It's like the key. I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna have to cut it because I don't want you guys to see my face. It's like the SpongeBob memes, like 5 hours later. Especially because I'm very Piscean today, so it's not gonna help. Luckily, the magic of editing. I'll be back. Kind of remember now. Okay. Okay, so this week's energy. King of Swords. you guys, is this sovereignty, is that even a word? I think it is. The sovereignty of the condor, okay? Is you guys becoming, it's not even becoming aware, but being clear of who you are. And making people aware of that. This card is the Phoenix. And the Phoenix is this magical, wise animal. That is why it's the King of Swords. That's why I said sovereignty. Is you claiming the wisdom, and I say claiming because it's holding the sword, it's claiming the sword. Is you holding the power of deciding and not just deciding, yes, that is the download. It's you holding the power. You hold the power to understand who you are. Pay attention on how this sentence was constructed. You hold the power to understand who you are. That is why you got, a man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. His own approval. And why am I saying that? That's why I took a lot of shadow cards for the activation. What energy we are supposed to activate? The Three of Coins. It's not just any Three of Coins. The Three of Coins is teamwork. But again, not just any Three of Coins. This Three of Coins specifically, I don't choose any deck lightly. It's all channeled. This is Tarot of the Divine, by the way. This Three of Coins is about this little child that is actually being raised to be a shaman. And it goes through a series of ordeals to, and not only ordeals, but very harsh trials in order to become the chosen one. Not just any child can go through can survive emotionally and psychologically the tests to become the shaman. So it's about learning, spiritual learning, but again, not by yourself. You have to go through the right tests, use the right tools, go to the right people, go through the right training. That is what you are supposed to activate. That is why I said sovereignty. You are the one who takes control on how you perceive yourself. Why am I saying that? Because the shadow cards for the energy to activate, you actually got the shadow card, the very King of Swords. And I was like, but isn't that the energy of the wake? That's why I took a lot of clarifiers. And to clarify the Three of Coins, I got the King of Swords, and then the Three of Coins. And I was like, I think I know what you're saying, but please, I need further instructions just to make sure that I know what it is. And the fact that I'm questioning actually has to do with the energy I'm going to show you guys. And then I got Strength and the Star reversed. What does it all mean? You guys, that is why I said you are the ones who hold the key to how you hold, to how you perceive yourself. You are the one who has to approve. The approval is yours, not anyone else's. The energy you have to activate, the Three of Coins, like I said, is teamwork. Is going through a spiritual training, a spiritual ordeal. But it's not just anyone. From the right people, the right sources, the right tools. I've been telling all the time here in this channel, and again, my first video on this channel, and I keep saying, the reason why I created this international channel, there are a lot of lunatics out there. A lot of people saying a lot of stupid things. A lot of people who are completely lost. Distorting a lot of concepts, thinking they're spiritual gurus, and teaching a lot of crap. Again, speaking a lot of dumbass things, making people even more confused than enlightened, and making people like dogs running after their tails, and putting people into a spiritual gaslighting, and making people feel some kind of spiritual shame as well because of that. So make sure that you're going in this journey to self-knowledge, to enlightenment, to becoming your best self. You're getting help, yes, but from the right sources. Because a lot of people say they have the truth, and they truly believe they have the truth about yourself. And they don't. You are the one who has it. You are the phoenix. You are the wise one, not them. Not them. But they act like they have the world on their feet, on their hands. But in truth, if you see this king, it's light and shadow. They're still filled with things they themselves haven't cleared up. And they pretend to be all enlightened and gurus and things like that. So be careful. I keep saying in these videos, be careful with the fake prophets, the fake prophets, the fake prophets. We're entering the age of Aquarius. We're gonna have fake prophets everywhere. This is what I'm saying. Be careful, guys. What you're watching, the content you're watching, the workshops you're going to, the courses, the books, everything. Be careful. Again, there are a lot of lunatics out there, a lot of crazy people distorting a lot of things. We're saying they're channeling, we're saying that they got divine guidance, we're saying this, we're saying that, we're saying, just be careful, guys. Seriously. They're gonna try to sell you a bunch of I don't know. And when I say sell, it's not even like money wise. It's convince you of a lot of distorted concepts that are actually going to be harmful for you. Because the other card that came in shadow was the same Three of Coins. So it's like people were completely lost. They're working on each other, but they're all deformed. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. And yet they are working on each other. It's like this person is putting lipstick on the shadow side of the other one. This one's carving God knows what. This one is drawing a face on the wrong side of the face. It's like, yeah, they are cooperating, but they don't know how. It's like they have good intentions, but intention without true knowledge, it's fanatism. Honestly, we're filled with fanatics out there. We have two types. That is why I say that we have to have balance. We have to have knowledge, but we also have to have good faith. Knowledge without good faith is tyranny. Is when people want to impose an idea. So be careful with both. That's what's coming for me. Is when people want, which is what we have now with the patriarchy, is when they want to impose concepts and ideas, but they don't have good faith. They're actually trying to manipulate you with their own ideas, with their own agendas. That is knowledge without good faith. But also, good faith without knowledge is fanatism. Is people who actually think they know something but they don't, because they're not studying it right, or even studying. They're going to the wrong sources. They're not thinking for themselves. They're just repeating patterns from another dumbass, to be honest, or from another fanatic. So be careful with both. Take the matters in your own hands. You are the wise one. Okay? You're the one going through the spiritual training. But make sure you're going with the right people. And through the beating of your own drum. That is why the shadow was strength and the star reversed. It's like, resist these people. Believe in yourself. Do not try to find a cure with this. They're going to try to sell you the cure, but they don't have it. They don't have it. They're just forcing it down your throat, just like this guy. So be careful, okay? Don't listen to them. And the energy to avoid. You have the 8 of coins reversed. And that is why I wanted to see I wanted to remember the legend about this. Because like I said, I remembered that it was a girl and her brothers turned into swans, and I was like, this is the key for everything. Why? Why it is the energy to avoid. This story is about a girl who was a princess, and she had 6 brothers who were princes. And her mother died, and the king married another woman who was very mean and very jealous of her and her brothers, because probably she wanted to have an heir with a king and didn't want competition. So she transformed all the sons in swans, and told the king that his sons, all of them, died. And the king believed, but the daughter never believed in it. And she tried to and she kept telling the king, hey, it's a lie, my brothers are alive, this woman is a witch and she's a liar. And the woman tried to silence the daughter, and eventually she exiled the daughter. Is it the word? I think it is. She banished the daughter from the castle by saying the girl was rebellious and a witch. And the girl wouldn't take it. The girl actually acted like Lilith. She was like, I don't care. I'm gonna prove that my brothers are alive. And she actually left the castle voluntarily, and she went after her brothers. And oh my god, it is so cold. And in the middle of the woods, she found a fairy that told where her brothers were and what she had to do to recover them. And she told that she actually had to make 6 shirts of this material, which was this nettle. Is it nettle? I think the word for the plant, I think it is. It's like this thing filled with thorns. I think it is nettle. So she had to make these shirts of nettle. Forgive me if this isn't a word and I'm making it up. I'm sorry. Again, I don't have enough vocabulary for English, especially when it comes to plants and very specific things. She would have to make them and put them on her brothers in order to bring them back into human form. So the girls, she spent, the fairy showed them this abandoned castle, and the girl stayed there with her swans, brothers, day and night, toiling, and making the nettle shirts. And that is why this is just so such a suffering scene. And one day there was a prince passing by, and he was actually moved by the girl's beauty, and he fell in love, and he wanted to take her to his palace. And she told him the story, and he was like, oh, there was something like, oh, he doesn't care or something, you can bring your brothers and finish the shirts there or something like that. And I don't remember if he was the son of the bad woman, or the bad woman was in his court or something like that, and she saw the girl. I don't remember. All I know is that she saw the girl in the court of the king, and she was pissed that she was alive, and she just started saying the girl was a witch and that she should be burned, and that she transformed the boys in and that she actually killed the boys, and that she was lying, that she wanted to usurp the throne, and blah blah blah. And the girl started crying and saying, no, these are my brothers, I just have to put the shirts on them. And she finally finished the last stitch, and she put the shirts on the brothers, and they transformed into princes in front of everyone. And she married the prince, and the woman, I don't know what happened to the woman. I think she was probably killed, because this is a German fairy tale, and Germans are very strict about things. So, and they lived happily ever after, and blah blah blah. But the reason why I wanted to remember this story is because there was this one thing that I forgot to mention. The girl, while she was doing the shirts, in order for them to work, she wasn't allowed to speak. That is the thing. She couldn't utter a single word, otherwise the shirts, they wouldn't work. So when the prince took her to the castle, she just couldn't say anything. Even though I said she explained it to him, I completely forgot about this detail. She just would cry and cry and cry, and he wouldn't understand. So she couldn't defend herself in court, because she had to keep herself silent in order to, until she did the last stitch and put it in her brothers. Otherwise, the magic wouldn't work. So, that is why I wanted to remember this story, because of this thing. It is the whole key for understanding what not to activate this week. This girl had to suffer. She had to do a lot of work by herself, in silence. What comes to me is that because this Eight of Coins is reversed, and again, I'm not used to reading reversed cards, but they told me to. If this was upright, because it is an energy to avoid, if this was upright, it was like avoid being silent, avoid not asking for help. Like this girl. But it is the opposite. It is reversed. So for me, is not avoid being silent. It's for you to understand that the work has to be done by you. Even though you can ask for help, and it's teamwork again, you can try to find help in a lot of places. Eventually the work will have to be done by you. Whether you like it or not. It's gonna hurt, yes, but the work has to be done by you. Because in this story, which has to do with activating, even though I said it's teamwork, the shaman here, it's trained. These are actually spirits. They're not real. So it's you with the spirit world. It's you with the spirit world. It's you interacting with spirit. There's no mediator. That is the thing. That is why it's silent work. So do not ask for help. In the material world, ask for help in the spirit world. It's you with spirit. You take the matters in your hands. Again, it's you listening to that's why I say this, it's you listening to the downloads. That is why I say this this oracle is perfect. I'm gonna read the definition again, because it just says everything. It's actually summoning up even better than I can. Learn to become self-aware. You learn to do that. It's your own approval that is needed, no one else's. Soaring with the majestic wings and lofty presence, the condor embodies profound qualities of heightened vision, spiritual purification, and divine guidance. Its medicine initiates a transformative journey, inspiring us to elevate our consciousness and cleanse our spirits. So it's you to inspire, it's you to elevate, you to clean your spirit, you to become conscient. And again, the condor, it's flying solo, and it's a very solitary bird. Its nest is very up high. It's up high in the mountains. No one reaches there. Even the phoenix, it rises from the ashes, and it's always with itself. It doesn't even like have babies. It's always her with. Why am I saying her? Yeah, because in Portuguese, phoenix is female, but it's the phoenix is always itself with itself, being dying and rebirthing. It doesn't need anyone. The alchemical process is theirs. It's them with spirit. There's no intermediator. There's no need for intermediators. Because they don't have good intentions. That is why I chose this deck. This deck has a bad a shadow energy. So yeah, silence yourself, okay? It's inner work. And because the shadow is the Six of Swords. And it's funny because usually the Six of Swords is a card of getting what you learned and moving on to better times. But it's usually a card with someone helping someone else. There's this guy rowing a boat with a family on top. But this one is actually someone going solo. That is why it's in the shadow position. It's like, don't be afraid of going solo. Don't be afraid of going solo. That's how you're supposed to go. But the reason why you're afraid of going solo is because you're carrying a lot. And it's fine, because it is how it is supposed to be. Because you're leaving a lot behind to better times. You burn the bridges. It's a whole new book that you're writing. Not a whole new chapter, it's a whole new book. You're reinventing yourself. The phoenix. You're rebirthing. And you don't want to be contaminated by either tyrannic ideas or fanatic ideas. The only ones that matter are your ideas, are your own ideas. And don't rush on them. Don't rush on them. The reason why I'm saying that is because the back of the deck, you have the Ten of Cups. So you know what you want. You know who you are. You know what you want. You know your true happiness. You know where you want to be. But the shadow is Temperance. You have to... I'm going to do this because YouTube is ridiculous. You have to be patient. Do not rush the process of alchemization. Do not rush it. It's alchemizing something. Do not rush it. Because going after these weirdos is trying to rush it. It's like, oh, how can I do this? How can I speed it? Is there a workshop I can do? Is there a guided meditation I can do? Is that... It's like... It's feminine energy. It's feminine energy. Go within. Don't go out trying to find something quickly. No. Go by the beating of your own drum with spirit. With spirit. Okay? Yeah. This is all I got for you guys. I just hope I made some sense. And yeah. See you next week after the eclipse. Let me know how it went. Hopefully I will have another video, a special one this week. I hope I can do it. I'm not sure if I can. A lot of things going on, a lot of curveballs that are not allowing myself to, are not allowing me to make a lot of videos for YouTube lately. And again, I'm respecting my rhythm. I'm respecting my drum. You guys should do the same. Okay? So yeah, see you next week and bye.